All right, y'all, I'm on my phone, not on the Insta360, but right now I'm gonna show y'all where I'm at. I haven't even watched the race car yet, but this past weekend I feel like we ran pretty good. The heat race, we took it extremely simple. Just wanted to finish. We got a feel for it. We finished. I'm a crazy dog. Oh, red ass, turning your head while I'm trying to get you. But yeah, we did okay. We came in like, I don't know, 6th or 7th out of 8th. I don't remember. And then for the feature, we were the A main. I call it the feature. We started 16th out of 18 or something like that. 23. There was 23 cars. I started way back in the back. We were running decent. The car was pushing a little bit in turn 1 and giving me a little bit of a headache, kind of like last year, but nowhere near as bad. I actually made the turn rather than hit the wall, but yeah, we did all right. We did not finish the A main. Coming out of turn 2, almost to turn 3, I was up high, and I came out of the turn a little bad and wasn't picking up the speed that I needed, but I was up high, and I was just setting to go into the turn 3, and somebody came up and damn, yo, I got this thing on my neck trying to solve some pain issues. Give me a second. Lidocaine patches. It won't stick. Pretty sure it's because I need to shave my neck, y'all. I'll fix throw this thing away. But anyway, yeah, so that guy drove across the left front. My car does not seem to be damaged, other than the rim was bent just a little bit. Nothing, I don't think anything drastic. I'm gonna be able to beat it out with a hammer, and then it'll seal back up because it just bent part of the bead. But I don't know exactly what all happened to him. I know his car was, the back of it anyway, was fully airborne. He crossed in front of me. I went down and just missed him and went around, and everything seemed to be okay. And then we took the green again, and we went around turn 1, 2, came to turn 3, set it, went into turn 3, and all of a sudden the car just shut off. So I pulled to the infield, watched the race. One of the guys that I get along with good, I mentioned him a lot last year, Grayson Warner, 57X car. That dude was flying, man. He was driving so good. Kudos to that kid. Unfortunately, he had a radiator hose or something bust, and he overheated, so he ended up parked next to me for like the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 laps in the infield. But I have full confidence he's gonna win a race this year. Yeah, so that's where we were. We loaded the car up, we got it home. Somehow the negative post came off of the battery, the cable, and the battery was sitting sideways. Part of the tie down bracket came loose and moved, and I guess that allowed the battery to jump around. I'm assuming that happened when the guy hit me, because it was a hard hit, that it just jarred all that loose. I'm gonna chalk it up as I forgot to check the fucking battery cables and didn't tighten them, because I've had the battery in and out of the car a couple times. So that's where we were. Right now, taking the right rear shock off and checking it. It has pretty good resistance going down or going in, but it's coming back out on its own, and I'm not so sure that these race shocks are supposed to do that. I thought that they could go in either easy or hard, with some type of resistance, and then you have to pull them back out, which is either easy, somewhat hard, or almost impossible. So, but this one is coming out on its own. So I'm gonna check with somebody and ask them their opinion. But the rear end is still together. The brakes actually worked. Yay, brakes for the first time in 2 years. I'm gonna finish tightening all this up. I tightened a couple bolts, found a couple that came loose. I don't like the way they are. I'm gonna try to find a way to put a spacer in between them and widen my adjustment braces, I guess you call them. These are obviously made by whoever put this car together, and they're horrible anyway, like everything else I say on this car. One day maybe I'll get a better one, but not this year. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. Checking that shock and seeing what's going on, tightening bolts and all that. This shock, for the first time, the right front did not break, y'all. So I think shaving this ear down, because these used to stick out way out here, they used to stick out underneath this. I shaved them off, and then I put a little bit of space in there and moved it over just a hair, and for once it did not break. That's the first time in like 4 shocks. But this morning I was jacking it up, and I have a leak on the top of my fuel pump somewhere, so I cleaned it up, and I'm going to play around with it and figure it out. We found at the track we was having some spitting and sputtering issues. We topped the fuel off thinking that was going to work, and then we fired the car off and I found a leak right here. So we tightened that down, and it was pretty good when we took off for the main. Drain the antifreeze. We thought we were going to change the water pump because the car is running extremely hot, running about 250 degrees within about 4 laps of the A main. So I don't know if it would have lasted 16 more laps, but anyway, we were going to change the water pump, my dad and I. But the first thing we did was we checked the little orifice inside of here. For regular cars it's a thermostat, but we don't run a thermostat. We run basically a washer with a hole, and our hole was really large, probably 1 inch or bigger. I think it was a little more than 1 inch. So I went down on size, and hopefully that causes more restriction, which keeps the cool water, keeps water in the radiator longer to cool before transferring to the block and getting hot again. So we're slowing down the flow so that the radiator has time to cool the water a little more. So I just topped it off. I'm going to check it again in a little while. Check the oil already, the power steering pump. I took it off so that we could get to the water pump, and then we decided not to do the water pump. So now I got to put it back on, and this bolt goes into the back of here, and then it was just turning on the inside of this groove that's in the back. So I welded a nut to the bolt, as you can see, so that the nut sticks out far enough for me to get a wrench on there to hold it so that I can get it tight. So yeah, that's where I'm at on that. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. One other issue we had was, as you can see, this hose right here with that bundle of wires that go in there, right? This is my oil pressure gauge. Well, its wires apparently got too close or touched this exhaust, and they burned right in half. And my oil pressure did not work anymore. So all right, I'm tired of that pad. I'm throwing it away. So I cut the wires and split them and butt connected them back together, heat shrink the hell out of them and all that. And then my dad, while he was here yesterday or the day before, what was yesterday? Monday? No, Sunday, when he was here. Yesterday I put this on. I did that work. But Sunday, while he was here, he took a piece of fuel line that I had left and cut a big old long slit in it, and I put that hose over there. As you can see, part of my work right there. So we put the hose over it to try to help protect the wire some, and I put a zip tie up here, and that hose is pretty stiff, so I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's not really moving anymore. So I think that we solved that problem there. The carburetor seems to be running pretty decent. I gotta clean the car out and clean it off. It's not too bad, but it is muddy. I never knew it, but someone, either I swung the back of the car around and hit somebody, or they hit me, but that bent in and it caused that fender to buckle. So I think once I take a hammer and beat this out, it'll suck that back out some, and then on the inside I'll just tap it out. So no big deal. That kind of stuff I don't mind. I don't think it's a big deal, and like I say, I didn't even know what happened. So anyway, just a quick video. That's where we're at. I'm gonna get back on this and reattach this power steering pump and go from there. So I will try here to set this down and let you see me doing part of this, although you probably already know how to do all this stuff. I just got to find a place to put y'all that you could actually see, so I don't have a tripod out here, y'all. This is going to be challenging. Yeah, that's not working. Let's see if I can do it this way. Get my finger out of the way. I don't know where I'm gonna put y'all. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. That might work. See how many times my hands get in the way. So I had to make these spacers. I don't know if I got y'all in the camera or not. And now I'm just trying to remember which one went where. But somehow my brackets are off. So we gotta get these lined up. I believe it's this one. This one. I'll have to remark these. And this goes up here. But I marked this blue, and I marked these spacers blue because the spacers are slightly different sizes in length. So I marked them with colors. I color coded them. I don't know if y'all can see that. I got a white and a red and a blue. And then I marked this bracket so I know where the blue bolt went with the top and blah, blah, blah. All the holes. Anyway, tried to make it dummy proof. So even if I'm not on it, all I got to do is say match the colors. And it should be good to go. So this isn't the easiest thing to put on and off. I think it's really supposed to mount a whole lot closer, this part, but I have a long water pump on, so it doesn't really work that way. And that's not the right size. So let me find my Allen socket. What is it? what there to do with the Allen socket. You know I had one. Did I drop it? Did I drop it? We'll use an Allen wrench and get this started. Looks like I dropped my socket somewhere. You know, I have all these power tools, but somehow I end up doing 9 times out of 10 doing this stuff by hand the old school way, which is pretty ridiculous if you ask me. To be honest, I'm just being lazy, y'all. I'm not going and getting a ratchet and all that. Do that in a second. That one bolt is a super pain in the ass. You got to go into it at an angle. Then it doesn't really work all that well anyway. So we'll just finish it off by hand. By hand. So I do have a fuel leak, as I said a minute ago. I also found a leak on my transmission, which might explain why my clutch is not quite as stiff as I was expecting it to be. It's just funny how things don't leak when you test drive and do all this other stuff, but then you get out to the track and it starts leaking, or you, like the rear end I videoed before just a couple weeks ago. The rear end, I put it all back together and it's leaking at the pinion seal. I took the pinion seal off, put it back on, did all this. It hasn't leaked for like a week in the shop. I put it on the trailer, take it to the track. I got drops on my trailer. So now I just went under the car to take that shock off and check a couple things. Check what I could with the wrenches I had. I didn't bring all the wrenches that I needed. So anyway, that's there. And the damn gasket's leaking. So I don't know. It's really aggravating. So we'll slip this belt on. All right, there's that. One step closer. Prop off. Have a wrench shop. I gotta try to work on my dad's car here sometime very soon. A lot easier than I expected. Shut up. I don't know what it is with this dog wanting to. Oh, nice. Nice. Well, there it is, guys. Easy peasy, right? Easy peasy. It's nice when something goes easy like that. Here he goes. It's a white truck, so we've got to chase it. Don't ask me why, but for some reason here lately, he wants to chase white trucks. Oris, come! Come! That'll be the first time his ass comes. I'm going to get him I think I'm going to look for a wireless fence GPS system I was looking at a couple, but they're like $400 or $500. It'll have a beep and a vibrate and a shock, and try to train him to stay in a certain area so that he can't get by the road no more. All right, so power steering's on. We're good there. I'm gonna top it off with a little bit of oil here in a little bit. So while I'm thinking about it, I'll go ahead and loosen this. We will loosen this filter. And that's where I put my oil, in that little baffle. So we'll just set that like that for now, keep dirt out. So I think this is gonna be a super easy week on the race car. I think that, and now that I said it, it probably won't happen, but I think it will. We'll grease all the grease fittings. I'll fix this tire, as you can see right there. I just gotta bend that out towards the tire. And it's literally, I'm gonna put it down like that, and I'm gonna take a hammer and smack the shit out of it. And then I'm gonna put air in it and look for bubbles. So they're aired up, still holding air. But yeah, I'll go through, I'll check the linkages for the shifters, all the bolts around the ring and gear, pinion, pumpkin on the rear end, all the shock bolts, spring systems, A-arms and transmission bolts, motor mounts, everything. If it's got a nut or a bolt or a safety pin or something in it, it'll get checked. I tightened the damn battery and my dad witnessed it, so we'll be good there. My tire don't look all that bad, honestly, y'all. It's just the rim. And it could have went flat, and luckily I didn't race on it since the car shut off. So anyway, we're at 22 minutes. I'm trying to keep this down a little bit, so I'll check with y'all later and let you know if I found anything else and what my transmission leak was, if there's anything I can do about the pinion leak, and what the fuel pump leak or fuel leak was once I find it. So anyway, it's Tuesday. My wife is back on Monday from Germany, so gotta clean the house. Been living like a bachelor, y'all. All right, y'all have a good Tuesday, and we'll check with y'all later. Thanks. Subscribe, like, comment, and try to get your people to watch my YouTube channel and all that. Thanks. Y'all have a good one.